Good morning, it's Deacon Dave Lipinski. May God bless you always. Today we celebrate the feast day of St. Augustine. Now the Augustine we celebrate is not the one that's more commonly known by people, the great Bishop of Hippo who was a doctor of the church. This Augustine lived about 200 years after that, and he's called Augustine of Canterbury. And he was a Benedictine monk from Italy who was charged by the Pope to lead 40 other monks to go to England to re-evangelize England. Now it's a re-evangelization because Christianity got there when the Romans were still there. But after Rome withdrew from England and the Anglo-Saxons invaded, though Christianity was there, it had basically gone very local. And the Holy Father wanted to bring them back into the church common. So they sent him, and Augustine is considered the apostle and founder of the church in England. He's honored for that, but it didn't go quite as easily as you may think, because he went forward not quite understanding what he was being called to do or where he was going or what might be involved. In fact, when he first started his journey, he got so scared and concerned about the stories he heard about England, he turned around and went back to the Pope and said, "I don't know if I can do this," to which the Holy Father said, "That is what God is calling you to do. Have faith." What he did is go forward. He goes to England, and luckily one of the first persons he converts is the king. Now the king had a Christian wife, which helped. And it was quite often that the missionaries would go try to get the king to convert to Christianity, and then all the people would follow him. It's happened in many cultures. But that didn't work for Augustine, because the king, though he became Christian and later was considered a saint, said the people must make their own decision. I won't force anybody to follow Christ. So Augustine had to go out and continue to spread the good news. And he tried to bring the church back in conformance between the church that was there before and the church he was re-evangelizing. And his life was a life of struggle. And throughout his struggle, he quite often said to the Holy Father, he would ask for advice. And he was given advice, but the biggest part of his advice was, God is calling you to do this. Be faithful. Well, he was. He eventually becomes a bishop. He founds the Diocese of Canterbury and some of the most ancient ones. And his influence led to England being one of the most Christian of countries for about the next 1,000 years. In fact, it's another king, Henry VIII, who really stripped Catholicism out of his own desires. So what's our message to us today? We often go through our life not quite sure why we're doing what we're doing or what we're called to do, but that's part of our life of faith. These past few months have been times where we're not sure what's going to happen next. When will the church open? How do we deal with this? And we don't have all the answers, and quite often we have to stop and restart what we're trying to do. That's not being at a loss. That's not being a failure. That's being faithful. Being faithful. So as we continue this journey, and again, some things are getting better and some things are still difficult, remember that Augustine was told by the Pope, you must do this because you must be a person of faith. May God bless you and keep you all the days of your life.